Hi everyone and welcome to my thank card. It's Friday. Today I'm going to be making a card using a normal business size envelope, and so I've cut the cardstock down to make sure it actually you can fit it in the envelope. I'm going to start off using some Naturals Ivory cardstock as part of the base. Now I've just got some scrap piece of paper. Now I've dusted off a wheel which I haven't used in a long time, so I'm going to be using a wheel, and the wheel that we'll be using today is I think it's Vintage Vogue or Very Vintage. I'm not too sure because it's a retired one and it's been a while since I've used it. So I'm just inking it up with crumb cake ink. I'm going to start off the page, and I'm not going to make it perfectly straight. I'm just going to wheel along. As you can see, I've really inked up my wheel, and I'm just going to wheel along the edge just there, just like that. So it's a fairly, I made the ink very juicy, so it's enough so you can see some kind of pattern on the background of this cardstock. So I'm just starting to ink up all around the edges and getting it nice and inked up throughout, and I'm heavily inking it around the edges because this is just going to be my background. I am going to cover it again with another cardstock, so that's going to be on the base of that envelope, the cardstock. You can see it better now without the actual white background, but yes, so we're going to start off with that. Alright, so I've still got little tiny bits left of my artisan embellishment kit, so I'm trying to use up the little tiny bit I have left. So I've cut off the stems of these two flowers, and I still got a little bit of that beautiful lace left. So I'm thinking I'm just going to stream this lace along that way, and probably I'm thinking this stamp set, this beautiful cup here, this teacup design, stamping it on that, and then maybe bringing the flowers onto that. Now my friend Geordie would hate that I use uneven numbers, so I'm trying to think how I'm going to incorporate it when I've only got two of these left. So let's just get stamping first. I'm going to get some red sticky strip and adhere that down along the card base here. So grabbing my Primrose Petal ink, now this is the new foam ink pad. I'm going to grab that cup of tea and make sure it's all inked. It's fairly juicy, these new ink pads, and I just love how they you don't even have to hardly press down. And this is so juicy, it's still got the bubbles on there. So I just want to, hopefully it's not too juicy that it might wreck my stamping. So I'm just going to stamp that down on my very vanilla cardstock, and I'm going to hold it down because I'd like the ink to seep in a little bit into the cardstock because it's such a solid image, which is a bonus too that it's so inky, that ink pad, because the solid images take really well. Oh, I might do that one more time. I mustn't press clearly on the top, so I'll try it one more time. Okay, I'm a lot happier with that one. It's such a pretty teacup. It's so delicate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my paper snips and really fussy cut around that teacup. Alright, so I fussy cut around the teacup, and then using the same sponge that I got some crumb cake ink on, I'm just gently sponging around, trying to get in there so that the vanilla cardstock isn't as strong vanilla. And it dirties it up just a little bit. Okay, So I'm thinking I'm going to put the teacup here, and I'm going to not put these flowers over here. So I've just inked up a doily, just shading that in. Now using that fanfare paper that I've been using the last couple of episodes, I'm using up the last little bits as much as I can. So I'm just grabbing some of that, I think, just to put from behind. Like that. Alright, so I'm going to adhere this down just with some snail. And just being very careful on the little holder, teacup holder bit. Adhere that down. And then I'm just going to grab some pearls. And just grabbing just my paper snips, just picking up some of the pearls. I'm going to grab, I think, actually I might use the biggest ones. I really like my pearls, as you'll notice on most of my cards. So those big flowers there will need some pearls. Just pretty. Okay, now that's like a bouquet there, and there's a little, it's like gathering there with some ribbon, so I'm just going to grab some twine. Alright, so just grabbing some twine and my glue dots, and I'm just going to roll up one little glue dot into a little ball just with my fingers and stick it behind that little precious bow that I tied. Just adhering that down. Now grabbing a little baby pearl. Just going to stick that down on the middle of that bow, like that, tying it together. Alright, so I had a little tiny strip left of this designer series paper, and using the Blooming with Kindness stamp set, the warmest wishes on your birthday, I'm going to stamp that down using the crumb cake. Crumb cake ink is very juicy because I've re-inked it, so it's probably a little bit darker than what the normal crumb cake would normally be. I'm just going to stamp that down. I'm just going to shade that, ink that up, and just shade the edges. Now, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to round the corners. So just using my Stampin' Up! Corner Rounder punch, which I don't get to use very often. This one, pretty sure it's a retired punch. So now just stamp, inking up the edges. Like that, and then only grabbing one of those little flowers left. I'm going to glue dot that down. I'm going to adhere this down with some dimensionals and stick this down with some glue dot. Alright, so just grabbing a glue dot and adhering that down. Just like that. Okay. And so that's my card for Thank Card. It's Friday. The reason why I made a bigger card today was because it's going to a lady at work, and everybody has to sign it, so I need a lot of room inside for everyone to sign the card. So that's why I thought I'd make a bigger card that can fit in a business size envelope. Alright, so thank you for watching Thank Card. It's Friday. Hope you liked today's card. And check out my blog and Facebook page and drop on by. Thanks for watching.